So, I want to tell you this incredible story. It's about turning a building everyone else had forgotten into a legacy of love and creativity. It's really about looking past all the cracks and the scars to find the soul of a place, and realizing that sometimes what looks like failure is just the first draft of something amazing.
And the whole story really kicks off with this idea from Jennifer Wolfe. See, she's a therapist, so her entire job is to see where people are hurting and figure out how they can heal. And when she walked into this old building in San Pedro, she saw the exact same thing. Not just bricks and mortar, but a life story that was just waiting for someone to listen.
Okay, so picture this. It's August 2024. There's a local art walk happening. Jennifer steps inside this place, 363 West 6th Street, and boom. She doesn't just see an old building, she feels it. A whole century of stories, of wounds, and this unbelievable potential. She saw a heartbeat where everyone else just saw rot.
I mean, think about it. This building had lived so many lives. It started out as a JCPenney back in 22, then it was a busy call center, then a dance studio just filled with life and music. But by 2020, the music was gone. And when Jennifer found it, yeah, it was leaking, it was tired, but you get the sense it was just waiting for what came next.
So she goes down into the basement. You know, the messy, raw part of the building that most people would just write off as a dungeon. But not her. She saw something completely different. She envisioned this incubator, a place built on pure hope, where small local dreamers could find their voice and tell their stories to the world.
Now you might be wondering, where does a vision like that even come from? Well, the soul of this entire project, it really comes from two people who taught her everything about what love actually is. Her parents, Donn and Allan.
The name on the door, Donn Allan, that's not some corporate branding. It's a tribute. It's this beautiful combination of the two people who shaped her entire way of looking at the world. You know, they didn't leave her money. They left her something way more valuable, a philosophy for how to live.
Her mom, Donna, she was the lantern, a psychologist who taught her that empathy isn't just a feeling, it's a discipline. It's how you get through a tough world without letting it make you tough. And her dad, Allan, he was the spine. He was a cardiologist who literally healed hearts, and then became a venture capitalist who funded the dreams that made those hearts beat faster. What a combo, right?
So there she is, standing at their grave, which overlooks the very same town where this building is. And she makes this promise. This project wasn't just about fixing up a building anymore. It was about creating a legacy that was actually worthy of the love they gave her.
And this is where the story gets even deeper, even more personal. Because the stakes suddenly get a whole lot higher with the arrival of her son, Nathan.
You know, after being together for 18 years with her partner Edwin, becoming parents later in life just brings everything into focus. And this one question started to haunt them. What are we leaving him? It's the kind of question that wakes you up in the middle of the night.
And they realized a digital footprint, emails and social media posts, it just wasn't enough. For their son, Nathan, they had to build something real, something with walls that could literally hold their story, so that one day he could walk through it and know, without any doubt, they were here.
Okay, so the vision is beautiful, right? The dream is amazing. But turning it into reality, well, that was just brutal. A soul-crushing ordeal. The dream was poetry, but the demolition? That was just chaos.
The building honestly fought them every single step of the way. I'm talking ancient wiring from the 50s, fire sprinklers that had been painted completely shut, and a roof that wasn't just leaking, it was leaking in 17 different places. The romance of the whole thing vanished pretty quick when the budgets didn't just grow, they exploded.
And it all just came to a head one night. Jennifer's covered in what feels like a century of dust and despair, and she just hits her breaking point. She whispers to Edwin that they have to give up, that they have to sell. She said the silence that followed that was maybe the scariest moment of her entire life. And then, right in the middle of that heavy, awful silence, you hear the sound of a scooter. It's their son, Nathan. He just zips past them, pats one of the scarred-up walls, and says these simple words. And just like that, he reminded them exactly who and what they were fighting for.
And that was it. That was the breakthrough. Their whole perspective just shifted. They realized this building was traumatized. It didn't need to be torn down. It just needed someone to listen to its story. So they made a vow to keep the scars, to honor its history instead of just covering it all up with drywall. And that became the whole point. Strength comes from owning your wounds, not pretending they aren't there.
So with this totally new sense of purpose, they refocused on the beating heart of the whole project, the things she first envisioned down in the basement, Voxel Micro Video Labs. And that name, Voxel, it's not random. It's a tribute to resilience. See, decades ago, her dad, Allan, started this medical imaging company called Voxel. Commercially, it was a failure, but he never saw it that way. He taught her this crucial lesson. Failure is never the end. It's just a rough draft of success.
And to make sure this place always felt like home, they refused to use those sterile corporate names like Studio A. No way! Instead, every single studio is named after one of their nieces, nephews, or their beloved family cats. It's this deliberate choice to build a place where people feel like they belong. And here's the best part. The family has no idea yet.
So this all leads to the summer of 2026, when the revival of this building gets completely tangled up with the next big chapter in their own lives.
For over 18 years, that's 6,570 days, Jennifer and Edwin built a life together. They proved their commitment to each other not with a piece of paper, but in delivery rooms, in funeral homes, and right there in the dust and debris of this project.
And now, it's finally time. They realized they couldn't get married in some rented hall. It just wouldn't feel right. They had to build their own altar. So this summer, they're going to say their vows right on the very ground they poured all their sweat and tears into.
This building, it's so much more than just a business. For them, it is the physical proof of their love story, a structure they built brick by brick as a testament for their son to see.
In the end, this whole project kind of suggests that the most meaningful things we ever create, whether it's a business, a community, or a family, they aren't built in spite of our flaws and our scars. They're built because of them. It really makes you stop and think about your own history, your own wounds, and the beautiful things you're building from them.